Welcome on into the Rock and Refuel Recruiting Roundup. I'm Jordan Ham, and we have plenty to get to. A big offer for one of the best running backs in the entire state. I'm going to bring in my good buddy Jason Jewell here on Skype. And Jason, Draycen Hall put up the numbers last year. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year. Didn't have a Power 5 offer until now.
Well, yeah, I mean, you talked about the numbers that Draycen put up, and they were just mind-blowing. He had almost 3,000 yards receiving and rushing, scored 40 total touchdowns, 29 on the ground, 5 in the return game, and he's a guy that he had offers from all the academies, all the Ivy League schools, and then and from Idaho as well. Comes out and he lands an offer from the University of Arizona. Just a great offer for this guy, and he fits in very well with what the Wildcats do on offense. You know, he's a smaller back, and that's why he didn't have the big-time offers until now. You know, he's 5'8", 170 pounds, but we saw last year he's got the speed. He ran sub 11 seconds in the 100 meters last year, and he fits in very well with what they do at U of A in that spread offense. You don't have to be a big bruising back to play in that kind of offense, and he's very good in the hurry up tempo style of offense. And this is a great a great offer for Hall. And talking to Eddie Zuby, the head coach over at Higley, he thinks a few other Power 5 schools are very close to offering as well.
And Jason, you've said that there are a couple other guys in that scenario that may not have the Power 5 offers quite yet, but we could see those coming as the season progresses.
Yeah, there are a handful of guys that come to mind, in that scenario. One of them is Justin Segura, the defensive tackle over at Horizon High School. He most recently got offers from New Mexico and from Hawaii, has one from Fresno State and from New Mexico State. And he's a guy, when I watch him on tape, he just has an absolute motor, plays D tackle, and is a very good offensive lineman as well. He's a guy that I think, as the season rolls around and some of these more highly rated defensive linemen fall off the board, that I think some Power 5 schools come calling for him. Another guy is Austin Young over at Desert Edge, big old offensive tackle right now. I think he's going to be an offensive guard. He's 6'4", over 300 pounds, and he's another guy that has the whole Mountain West has pretty much offered him, but I think a couple Power 5 schools could be on the verge. And then Jarrett Caldwell, he's a big hybrid tight end wide receiver over at Chandler. We saw that he committed to UNLV, talked to Coach Aguano over at Chandler during the offseason. He thought he was a guy that could be on the verge of getting some Power 5 type offers, because he's that hybrid. He's a tough matchup in that he's 6'3" and he's 220 pounds. So he's a personnel buster. He really makes it really tough on defensive coordinators. And the last guy I want to spotlight is Craig McFarland. He's going to be a junior offensive tackle at Chaparral High School. I really like the sophomore tape. He was 6'6". He's 240 pounds. Big, long kids like that just don't grow on trees. They're tough to find. He does not have a scholarship offer at this point, but I don't think you'll have anything to worry about. He's a very talented offensive lineman with that long length, has good grades. He's going to get heavily recruited.
And Jason, you mentioned Justin Segura. His teammate Isaiah Mercelot had the other offer this week. He picks up his 4th offer.
Yeah, it comes from an FCS program, comes from Liberty. You mentioned that he has other offers, New Mexico State, Nevada, Idaho. Those are the other programs that have offered the very talented offensive lineman over there at Horizon. I think the Huskies are very good in the trenches with Segura, Mercelot, and Grant Molesky, the big tight end DN. So I think the Huskies are on the verge of having a very good season.
And Jason, we are at 0 week. The season is upon us. Wanted to get your thoughts. Who are a couple guys that you really want to see up close and personal and further evaluate them in the state?
Oh, shoot, there's a bunch of guys I'm really looking forward to. Kellis, last year they had a very good breakout season, went 9-1. So I want to go see Josiah Bailey in person. It's been a couple years since I've gone over to Kellis and seen a game. And I also, I'm an offensive line guy. We all know that. I want to go see Mateo Mele. I saw him last year playing tight end at South Point. We saw that he committed to the University of Washington as an offensive tackle. I want to see how he's progressed in the last 6 months to a year in his transition from tight end to offensive tackle.
Great stuff from Jason, as always. Appreciate it. This is the Rock and Refuel Recruiting Roundup on Sports 360 AZ.